I'd like to welcome all of you here, particularly the Luskins and their family and friends, as well as the school's extended family, our board of advisors, our senior fellows, our faculty and former faculty, our staff, many colleagues from across the campus, alums, students, and numerous friends and supporters of UCLA. As many of you may know by now, today's event, this moment, is really due to the remarkable vision and generosity of two people, Meyer and Renee Luskin. The thing I guess to know about the Luskins, probably more than anything else, is they're just absolutely wonderful people. And we're all so pleased that they are engaged with our school. They're passionate about improving opportunities for their fellow citizens. They're generous with their time and spirit and intellectual curiosity, their philanthropy, and very much in what one might call the Bruin way. They, however, typify the stories of many families in Los Angeles. As the mayor noted a little bit ago, he and Meyer are homeboys. They're both from Boyle Heights. Meyer came to UCLA on a $30 scholarship, but he told me tuition was $29, and I think he invested the other dollar. He rode the bus, he carpooled with 5 other students to get to classes, and many of you probably do not know that Meyer was a member of the UCLA varsity boxing team, a 127-pound featherweight, the team was called the Fisticuffers. I don't think we challenge that, our NC2A titles in boxing anymore. He interrupted his studies to serve his country during World War II, returned to finish a degree in economics. Shortly after he graduated, he met his future bride, Renee, who is also a Bruin, and we are thrilled by that. She moved to Los Angeles from Massachusetts, and at dinner one night with Governor and Mrs. Dukakis, they shared lots of Boston stories, and Renee is now, though, a full Bruin. Together they built a family, a life. They've shared their core values about improving the lives of others and contributing to the civic fabric of the place they call home, Los Angeles. The Luskins have entrusted us to continue this legacy of passionate engagement, and we indeed take this responsibility very seriously. We're honored to have that task, and we pledge to live up to those core values. Well, as I said, the Luskins are very, very committed to Los Angeles and the greater region, and it is now my pleasure to introduce another great Bruin. The city is the partner of the university the partner of the city, and our mayor is a proud UCLA alum and a great friend to the university. As you know, the Honorable Antonio Villaraigosa is the 41st mayor of Los Angeles, and as I said, he's from native Angelino from Boyle Heights. He's been a tireless advocate for creating a vibrant and economically robust city. He's had this very, very exciting and ambitious vision about 3010, the LA Transit Plan to bring 30 years of transportation progress to the city in 1 decade, and I think that is a truly visionary agenda. He sponsored programs such as Summer Night Lights to give young people positive opportunities to live a healthier life and stay away from gang violence. He's prioritized economic development and job creation to make Los Angeles a leader among urban centers, and as you know, heavily involved with the revitalization of downtown. And perhaps his greatest challenge is taking on the enormous task of trying to create a better learning environment for our children in the public schools in Los Angeles, perhaps one of the most important things a civic leader can do. Ladies and gentlemen, my great honor, the mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa.
Thank you, Frank. That was a very kind and overly generous introduction. A little long, but I can't complain. I wrote it myself. Uh, Thank you, and we share a passion for education, a love for this institution, and two daughters that are anxiously awaiting their acceptance letters. So, biting our nails. It's indeed an honor for me to be here with all of you, and I couldn't miss this when I read about this enormously generous donation to UCLA School of Public Affairs. When I saw that the money would go to an institution that I am absolutely passionate about. You know, the Luskins and I were talking about UCLA and what it did for us, and as you said, Dr. Gilliam, we were two Boyle Heights boys, and there are a lot of unique neighborhoods in LA, there really are. But I'll tell you, the more you know about Boyle Heights, the more you realize that in many ways it was a progenitor of what the city ended up being. It was a place where Jews and blacks and Latinos and Japanese Americans and white Russians all lived together. It was the Ellis Island of our town. And you know, I've never met anybody that grew up in Boyle Heights that don't remember growing up in Boyle Heights. So for me, to be here with a good Boyle Heights boy, with a Boyle Heights couple, you know, couldn't be prouder. And I know you got to Boyle Heights in 1942, I think you said, a little earlier? 1940. I was born in 53 and moved to Boyle Heights in 57. We both rode the bus from time to time to UCLA. I also carpooled and came here. And this school, for you and for me, and when I say you, I'm talking to the two of you, opened up a world. I mean, you have no idea. You've heard me say that City Terrace was a stone's throw from City Hall, but what a long journey it was. And if that was true for City Hall, it was really true for UCLA. Because when I got here, you know, I wasn't sure if I'd fit in. And I don't know if you felt the same way. We both graduated from Roosevelt High School, a storied school with a great and proud tradition. A Rough Rider we always will remain, and a Bruin as well. And you know, it should serve as no surprise that somebody who was blessed, the two people who were blessed with a great education and the opportunity and a great life that came with that, would want to give to a school committed to the idea of not just theory, because theory's great, but the merger between theory and practice and engaging in the community, and the idea that this contribution will also go to creating more public service and engagement, I think is important. You know, our great Chancellor, Chancellor Block, knows that I've said from time to time that a great university, and that's what this is a great world-class university, has to see its destiny as tied to the city that it lives in, this world-class city. And I believe that UCLA does see its destiny not, not just as a great institution of higher learning that happens to be in Los Angeles, but one that sees its destiny as intertwined and tied to the future of this great city. And this contribution, in many ways, will help us realize that destiny, that nexus between a great university and a great city. And you are not just giving a lot of money, $100 million donation to UCLA and to the School of Public Affairs and to the Faculty Center and all of that this money will be used for. But you actually are solidifying the relationship between this great institution and the city that it thrives and resides in. And I think in many ways that's what makes this contribution so important. It will have a multiplier effect. It will go beyond just a building and the great, academic offerings that take place here. It will really go to contribute, I think, to improving our city. And so Mayor and Renee, Meyer and Rini, I'm sorry. First thing I said, well, I knew I was going to get that wrong. Rini and Meyer, thank you. Thank you for this wonderful contribution. Thank you for setting a standard and a way, because there are a lot of people that have come to this great school. And you're right. I answer the call every time you call, and I do, because I wouldn't be here if I hadn't gone to UCLA. That has never been lost on me. And clearly, by the generosity of this contribution, it's never been lost on you either. And for that, we thank you, and we honor you. This is truly a remarkable day for UCLA, for the people who come here, but also for our great city. And I have, is it here? Over there. And I'll say it, somebody broke the glass on this, but all right, son. I have a couple of, by the way, I'm looking in the crowd, and I have a couple of my staffers who came here, School of Public Affairs. Actually, one was what I call my body guy, and now he's here, and I guess it's finishing his first year. So there's a real strong connection here. And so on behalf of the city of Los Angeles, I want to acknowledge you and UCLA, the UCLA Meyer and Rini Luskin School of Public Affairs. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor Villaraigosa. I'll be brief in my introductions of my boss, but I will make one comment, and the mayor spoke about this symbiotic relationship between the campus and the community, and Chancellor Block has been a tireless advocate for the role that public universities play in the broader civic life of the community in which they're situated. And for that, we thank him. Just so you know, Chancellor Block holds faculty appointments in psychiatry and biobehavioral sciences in the Guffin School of Medicine, and in physiological science in the College of Letters and Science. He's a fellow of all sorts of stuff. American Association for the Advancement of Science, the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. He actually knows a lot about jet lag, and it's what he studies, and so he's been chancellor since 2007, and he's really a first-rate gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Chancellor Gene Block.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everyone. And it's my great pleasure to join our mayor, Vergosa, and Dean Gilliam, and our campus community to celebrate what is for all of us really a historic event. On behalf of present and future generations of students, faculties, and researchers whose scholarship at the Luskin School of Public Affairs will transform life for the people of our state, our nation, indeed the world, I offer heartfelt thanks to Rini and Meyer Luskin. Thank you for all that you've done for UCLA. Thank you. As alums, Meyer and Rini have seen their alma mater evolve, dramatically evolve, while adding disciplines and fields of study. It's exhilarating and, for me, very personally reassuring to have partners in Rini and Meyer whose vision for UCLA is so aligned with our own and who share our belief on what UCLA should aspire to be. This is, as Dean Gilliam noted, a seminal moment for the School of Public Affairs. But Rini and Meyer Luskin's gift is also a decisive moment for California public higher education. Our state, as all of you know, is blessed with outstanding public universities, really the best in the world. If these institutions are to fulfill their mission in the 21st century, then it is essential that alumni, business and civic leaders, and private foundations follow the Luskins' example by identifying the passions most important to them and investing in the outstanding scholars and centers at UCLA and throughout the UC system. For Rini and Meyer, that passion is manifested in their view that UCLA is a problem-solving institution, a proving ground for cutting-edge technology and ideas that will apply real-time solutions to transform and elevate our region, the state, and beyond. We all recognize that reliable and adequate state support is essential if we are to meet our tripartite mission of education, research, and service. However, we also recognize UCLA's greatness is fueled by the generosity of alumni and friends who believe in us. Rini and Meyer have said that their gift is an investment not just in UCLA, but in Los Angeles. Consider then that our role in managing this critical investment is that of a trusted steward. Our faculty and our students will ensure that the Luskin gift achieves vast dividends through new discovery and knowledge that improves in profound ways the quality of life of our region and beyond. This is a lofty goal, but it is squarely in line with UCLA's mission, and this transformative gift will provide the resources that will make this achievement of this goal possible. At this pivotal juncture for UCLA, Rini and Meyer's gift assures that our prospect for academic excellence and community engagement continue for generations yet to come. Those who dare to dream big, imagine a better world, and are confident in the promise of UCLA's future. Meyer and Rini, your generosity, goodwill, vision, and inspiration are hopeful examples for all of us, and you both have our deepest gratitude. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chancellor Block. The Luskins' involvement with the School of Public Affairs started, as many of these things do, somewhat more modestly. Meyer and Rini had an idea to create a unit that would look at innovative solutions to real-time problems and created the Luskin Center for Social Innovation. It evolved out of an institute for Los Angeles the chancellor and the provost had been considering for some time. And the idea was to bring together some of the best and brightest on the campus with key stakeholders in the community, the business community, the civic community, and address our city's most urgent challenges. Its current focus is on environmental sustainability, and it is led by J.R. DeShazo. He's Associate Professor of Public Policy. He's the co-chair of the department, and we've tasked him with other things as well. But J.R. has done a wonderful job leading the Luskin Center, and I present to you Professor J.R. DeShazo.
Well, if you're like me, one of the beneficiaries of this generous gift, you've been asking yourself a question, which is, how do you say thank you for a gift of $100 million. And Meyer and Rennie, we know that the way to express our gratitude is to realize your vision and our vision of making the school, the Luskin School of Public Affairs, the best institution of its kind in the country. To advance knowledge and disseminate truth for the betterment of our fellow man and woman. And to serve as intellectual leaders, both our faculty and our students, because leadership and learning are indispensable to one another. So we know it's through our actions that we can say thank you. But we wanted to get you something, a little more personal. Some of you know that Meyer graduated from UCLA in 1949 and Rennie in 1953. Probably fewer of you know that 1949 produced one of the great wine vintages of the 20th century. And our gift recognizes both of these marvelous events 62 years ago. It's my great pleasure on behalf of the school's faculty, its staff, and students to present Meyer and Rennie with this token of our gratitude and commemorate the vision that your generous gift has made possible. Thank you.
JR, you make me want to start singing It Was a Very Good Year. But I think I'll save all of you and myself from that embarrassment. This is a truly historic occasion for the school and for the university. And I just say a quick word about the school. You can read online in our materials about our 3 wonderful departments and our really, really first-rate student body. But people ask me all the time when I'm on an airplane, you're the dean of School of Public Affairs, what do you do there? And I say, we try to change the world. One step at a time, one action at a time, one project at a time. And I think that that is so consistent with the Luskins' vision about making the world a better place. And through this support for students and faculty and the broader community, this gift is transformative. And as I told Meyer one day, many, many years from now, somebody's going to do what my young son did when he saw a street named for one of our former chancellors. They're going to say, who was that Luskin guy? And we're going to be able to say a person really committed to the public good. And I think that's one of the great legacies. So it is now our great pleasure to ask the Chancellor, Meyer and Rennie, to join me. We are going to go over to the big unveiling stage over here. And see if this works.
We have one additional gift, I believe, for the 2 of you, and I'd like to show you. It's a picture.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Beautiful. Oh, that's sensational.
That's beautiful. Mayor Villaraigosa, Chancellor Block, Executive Vice Chancellor Wall, Dean Gilliam, extinguished guests, dear friends, and our loving family. I say our because I'm representing Rennie and myself. You're going to have to bear with me as I read from this because the memory isn't what it used to be. In fact, it brings a story to my mind about this lovely elderly couple. They're having problems with their memory, They go to their doctor, and the doctor examines them and says, "You're both fine. Your memory is going, but I have some advice for you. Just write down whatever it is you want to remember, and that'll help you if you write things down." And they say thank you, and they go home. And then they're watching television, and he gets up and says, "Honey, I'm going to fix something for myself in the kitchen. Could I get something for you?" She says, "Sure, I'd like some vanilla ice cream." She says, "Aren't you going to write it down?" He says, "What's to write down? Vanilla ice cream." She says, "I'd like some chocolate syrup on there." He says, "Fine, chocolate syrup, vanilla ice cream." "Aren't you going to write it down?" He says, "Nothing to it. Chocolate syrup, vanilla ice cream." "I'd like some whipped cream." "You can write that down. Whipped cream, chocolate syrup, vanilla ice cream." He goes off to the kitchen. About 20 minutes later, he comes out. He hands her a plate with ham and eggs. She looks down at the plate. She looks up at him. She says, "Where's my toast?" To continue to bear with me, because I need to unburden some feelings about this event. First of all, I really thought Frank Gilliam was kidding when he told me that the letters in the building would be 8 inches high. What I had envisioned was at least 2 feet high, multicolored neon lights that would be flashing randomly. Secondly, I expected a Bruin band. I don't see any. And I even picked a theme. And Rini said, "Meyer, you can't pick that. It's God Save the King." Well, the final disappointment was rejecting my idea of having Chancellor Block come riding in on a blue and gold Charger, blowing a long trumpet horn. And then Rini says, "Meyer, horses don't come in blue and gold." And besides, his wife, Carol, wouldn't let him come galloping in on a horse. Maybe a dairy cow. That's an inside joke. Well, time to stop being serious. I first stepped on this wondrous campus in 1942. The campus consisted of essentially 4 buildings, the library, Royce Hall, and the 2 other buildings on the quad. There was a students' union and the women's and men's gym. That was it. How spectacular and magnificent has been the leadership of Chancellors Murphy, Young, Carnesal, and Abrams in creating this world-class university with its excellence and breadth of study. I'm amazed and awed by the accomplishments of these leaders and their faculty. I had started at a nice little college, and now I behold a megapolis of knowledge, teaching, healing, and giving. Well, Rini and I have been asked, why the School of Public Affairs? Well, we believe that our society's most important problem is, how do we do a better job of living together? Yes, a solution to cancer, a unified field theory of the universe, an economical process of producing energy by fusion, all of these would be great, and they would add to life. However, if we don't learn to live and let live, if we do not create a community and a world wherein equal opportunity and justice and an active regard for environment is the rule, then no great acts of technological genius will matter. Because the likelihood is that some of us, or most of us, will be denied the enjoyment of the wonders of this planet and the gifts of science. Gutenberg invented the printing press. But that magnificent achievement did not prevent a Hitler. And Mendeleev developed the periodic table. But that great breakthrough did not prevent a Stalin. And the inventive genius of an Edison did not prevent a Joe McCarthy. It is imperative that we develop the plans, techniques, and laws for a peaceful and productive society, not only for this world, but for the one we leave for our children and our grandchildren. And thus we are led to the School of Public Affairs. The school scholars and their students, using scientific methods, need to discover and then to help implement the structure for optimizing communal living. They need to present plans, recommend laws that combine economic opportunity, environmental sustainability with a culture of tolerance, cooperation, and justice. A culture that embodies the great principles of spirituality without any stigma to those who choose or decide not to choose a label. Our gift will endow new chairs, attract outstanding scholars, create new departments, update our classrooms, aid graduate students, fund research, and most important, provide money to buy the metal polish used to buff up our names on this building. Rini and I wish to thank Chancellor Jean Block, Executive Vice Chancellor Scott Wall, Dean Frank Gilliam, and Steve Jennings for their development of Rini and myself. They are knowledgeable, inspirational, ethical, and strong leaders, and we are confident that our ideals and gift will entwine. Rini and I have been blessed by the fates, and thus we've had the privilege to give and to help. And we cherish that privilege, and so we say, thank you, UCLA.
Mar, thank you for those insightful and moving words. Extraordinarily thoughtful. We're coming to a close and can get back to the merriment, and I guess I'm going to Home Depot and getting some a tub of brass cleaner. I'm sure my degree will come in handy. Our closing comments are offered by somebody who's been instrumental in making today happen and who's worked with the Luskins closely over many, many years, and that is our Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost Scott Waugh. He's over there giving me bad signs and the evil eye, not to say nice things about him. But I'll say one thing. Scott loves UCLA. He's an alumnus himself. And now you could say he loves UCLA or we can't get rid of him, I guess. I don't know what's the right way to go. But I just want to say publicly, Scott has been very, very instrumental in this gift and for making today possible. And I think he really deserves a lot of recognition for that. It's a lot of hard work, and we appreciate it. Our Provost, Scott Waugh.
Thank you, Frank. It's hard to add anything after that magnificent speech, Meyer, but I'll close this off quickly. And what I want to do to start with, if I not fall down, is just to add the thanks and to reiterate the thanks of the entire community to Meyer and Rini for this magnificent gift. It really means a lot to UCLA. It's pivotal, obviously, for UCLA, for the School of Public Affairs, and for Los Angeles. And it brings together three great loves that Meyer and Rini have, they share with all of us. One is a love for UCLA. One is a love for policy and betterment, as you've heard Meyer so eloquently testify, and a love for our city of Los Angeles. And this is the kind of gift that brings those together. I also, however, want to take this moment to add my personal thanks to Meyer and Rini. About 7 years ago or so, I went to, with Steve Jennings, we went to see Meyer. I didn't know, I'd never met him before, and we went to his office. And I sat down, and I think I was pitching a chair, an academic chair and something, and he listened very politely. And Meyer and Rini, both are, above all, are incredibly gracious. And that graciousness comes through. And Meyer, as you know, he listened very graciously and absorbed it and looked down his want. And he looked up and said, well, that's not exactly what I had in mind. And with that, a long conversation began, a conversation that's lasted over 7 years, a conversation that's been filled with the kinds of values that you've heard, a shared love of wine, a shared love of food, a shared love of humor, a shared love of wit and wisdom. I've gained tremendously from that. Our time together I treasure enormously. He's taught me an enormous amount, a great deal about himself, about his city, about his values, and about the way he sees the world, both as a manager, a businessman, but also as a person, a traveler, somebody who is open to the world and open to all the things in the world, as he so eloquently expressed. So Meyer, thank you very much. And thank you for this magnificent gift, but thank you above all for the faith that you have demonstrated in this institution, this city, and the people that make both possible. So Meyer and Rini, thank you, thank you. Now, as Frank said, it's getting cold. Let's party and really celebrate this wonderful occasion.